Hi everyone, welcome to the booth here at Createx Colors, and in this video we are going to talk about two new products to our line this year. One is actually an existing product, but it's been modified, and that is our Wicked Gloss White and our Wicked Gloss Black. If you guys are familiar with it, we have had in the past, we had a Gloss Black. This is a new improved version of that particular product, and we went ahead with what we learned on that and made a Gloss White as well. So we have a Gloss White and a Gloss Black. And while they're great on their own, the specific need for these actually go into a system of using our Quicksilver Chrome and our Gold Chrome. So if you guys are familiar with that product, you need, or what we recommend for the real poppy kind of a chrome is the Gloss White. And you can do kind of a smoked chrome or a darker chrome by using the Gloss Black. So, and it's imperative that you have a really shiny, smooth, slick surface in order to do that. So this kind of, this product kind of fills a gap in something we didn't have. Otherwise, you'd have to apply a clear coat, a top coat, and all that type of thing in between. So this kind of fills that void and it streamlines the process. And actually, that's what we're going to talk about in this video today. We're going to do a little spraying of the Gloss White, and we'll do a Gloss Black. I'll show you guys how easy it is to use, how well it covers. And then towards the tail end of this video, we'll quickly cover spraying the chrome and the gold chrome. And then at the very end, we'll actually do a little trick spraying. We'll do some candy over that chrome to get a really cool anodized effect. So we'll get right into it, right? For this particular video, what I'm gonna use is the TH2. This is an Iwata TH2. Great little trigger gun. It's really shines and excels in atomizing our Quicksilver chrome and the gold chrome. So we'll use that throughout. I'll show you guys how well this product works through that gun. And it's 10%, right? So it is the same if you guys are familiar with any of our other products. It's a 10% add of our 4011 reducer. That is our recommended reducer across the board. I can't stress this enough. We do it in every video. 4011 is the go-to recommended reducer, and a 10% addition of reducer to our paint. So this is no different. If you guys are familiar with the older version of the Gloss Black, it was a spray out of the bottle product. And it was a little more difficult to use because it was kind of exacting in terms of how you sprayed. You had to be really careful with it. You could over-apply the product very easily and you could get runs, and it was a little harder to use on larger surfaces. So we've kind of changed the formulation of that and made it a little more user-friendly, and it applies very well with an airbrush all the way up to a large spray gun. So right here we have my PPS cup. I'm going to go ahead and mix about 2 ounces of product right about there. And then 10% of our 4011 reducer. It's right about there. That's it. So as with all of our products, we recommend mixing this and letting it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes to really let the reducer kind of break down the surface tension in the paint and get everything acclimated, getting all married together in one nice even mixture. So we're going to set this aside for about 10-15 minutes, and when we come back, we're going to be spraying some Gloss White. All right, everyone, welcome back. Booth is running. It's been about 15 minutes. Got my white all mixed. I actually went ahead while we were at the break and mixed up a black as well, because we're going to show the white and the black. So I'm going to go ahead and spray probably about 2 coats. This is Autoborn Sealer Gray. So it's a perfect round coat. We always recommend Autoborn Sealer from the ground up. The only reason I really opted for the gray is just because I wanted to show you guys the coverage of the white. Obviously, if I was going to make a recommendation, if you were spraying the Gloss White, spraying over a Sealer White would improve coverage even more, make it a little bit easier, but it's going to cover fantastic over the gray. So really, anything lighter is going to be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 coats, 50-50 overlap, just like all of our paints, almost like you're spraying clear coat. Medium wet coat, that's all you're going to want to do. Nice and wet. I don't want to see really a dry spray, because essentially how you spray it is how it's going to look. So again, it's just a medium wet coat. We'll let that flash off. With good air movement, it's about 10 minutes between coats. Again, in most of these videos you guys are familiar with, we're about 70 degrees and 60% humidity, which is kind of optimal in terms of spraying conditions. So good air movement to be about 10 minutes before this flashes off. So we'll go ahead and get that done, and when we come back, we'll be spraying the black. Guys, we are back. Fresh shape, same thing. This is a Sealer Gray, and I have the black ready to spray. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the first coat on. And again, what I meant when I said texture really what I was referring to is how even I spray this, and that's kind of why the application with the TH2 is a little bit nicer, because it does have this mini fan pattern. So I don't want a real massive variation in my orange peel. I want my peel to look really nice and even across the board. Is any spot where it's a little dry or a little heavy, it's gonna dry that way. You're gonna see that it's not gonna kind of go away. So when I say it's gonna level, it will level more uniform. You know, so something like this is exactly what I want to see. I want just a nice, even, medium wet coat, and that's going to dry just like that. So if your first coat's kind of funky and spotty here and there, it's not a big deal. Again, you can actually sand this in between coats about 15 to 20 minutes. You can let it dry and nice, and come back and lightly sand it if you had a spot you weren't too happy with, and then you just wipe that off and continue on spraying. So we're going to let this dry up. We'll do a second coat, and when we come back, we'll be spraying our Quicksilver and our Gold Chrome. Hey guys, welcome back. We have 2 coats of white and 2 coats of our gloss black, totally dry. So I probably could have gotten away with 1 coat of the black, but 2 coats just to make sure I had enough material on there in terms of coverage. And again, I want to just touch on the application of this and basically putting it on the way you want to see it. So the smoother you can get it to lay down, the better. So any kind of dry or any kind of overspray really isn't going to melt in and go away. So you kind of want to apply this like a clear coat or a single stage kind of a finish if you're familiar with that. Again, medium wet, but just being really mindful of how even you're spraying. I don't know if you can see it, but on the white and the black, there's a few little dust nibs, some surface imperfections. So I want to take a moment to talk about that. We can actually, I'm not going to do it, but you can actually go ahead and sand and polish this out. Light grit paper, maybe 15 to 2,000, maybe finished 2,500, and you can use a light polish and polish this right out, and it's actually going to increase the shine a little bit even more. You can actually dry polish. When I say dry polish, I just mean polishing the surface without sanding. You can go ahead and polish these up to increase the shine as well, and maybe get any kind of light imperfections out. The only reason I'm saying this is because for the next step, the application of the Quicksilver and the Gold, you want a smooth and contamination-free surface, as smooth as clean as you can get it, because any of those little dust nibs or those imperfections are going to kind of magnify or be magnified when you put the chrome down or when you put the gold down. You need a clean canvas to start. So if you are going to do that, polish it, just make sure it's totally clean. Wipe it down with a solvent-based pre-cleaner, like a really mild solvent-based pre-clean, just to make sure you get any kind of residue off. And then you're ready to apply the color, the Quicksilver or the Gold. So what we're going to do, and one more thing, if you are going to kind of plan on sanding and polishing, make sure you put enough material on that you have enough material to work with. The last thing you want to do is kind of burn through, and then you have to start over. So if you're going to do that, kind of plan on maybe doing 3 to 4 coats as opposed to like the 2 coats. So food for thought. Next, we're pretty much ready to apply the Quicksilver and the Gold. So what we'll do is we'll do Quicksilver over the black and white, and then I'll jump over to the Gold, and we'll do the same thing. We'll do it over the black and over the white, so you can kind of see the difference on what that ground coat does for the final look. This product, both the Quicksilver and the Gold, shake these really well, and these are sprayed right out of the bottle. So no reduction, right out of the bottle. A little goes a long way. And typically, I'm at the higher end of my air pressure. So for this, we'll use the TH2. Again, I'm going to be right around 45 PSI with this, which is a little bit higher than I normally spray it. And you want to be really mindful with your application technique. This product is kind of designed to dry on contact, and you want to give enough time in between coats to really let the product, again, dehydrate and make sure it's really dry. The last thing you want to do is a wet application, so really fine coats and building up, probably 4 to 5, maybe 5 maximum, depending on how it looks. 4 is kind of the sweet spot. So, and again, it's just a light application. That's actually why this is a great tool to apply this. This is a TH2, a smaller needle. It's a 0.6, I believe, or 0.7. So a little bit higher air pressure. You really want to atomize that product. You want it to almost be dry to the touch as you're spraying it. So we're going to get the booth running, and we'll start spraying some chrome. Okay, guys, this is the first coat over the black. You can see I'm further away than I typically would be when I'm spraying, and you're really just trying to nurse this on. You still being as even as possible, but really gentle with your application. I do not want this to look wet at all. That was basically one coat right there. So super, super ginger with how you apply this. We'll go on to the white. Again, just making sure I get all my edges. And that's it. It doesn't really look like much, but that is one coat. So I'll let this dry up and we'll be back for coat number 2. All right, guys, we're back. Coat number 1 is totally dry. And again, I sound like a broken record, but I say this in all the videos. The best result you're gonna get with all our paints, including the Quicksilver and the gold, it's gotta be totally dry to the touch. I don't wanna touch this now, but I'll touch down here. Totally dry, not sticky, not totally dry. So you can see I was super ginger with my application, really light, slowly building it up. You're not spraying this like you would a sealer or your base coat color or clear coat. It's slowly building up the color. So I'm gonna go ahead and do coat number 2. Very light on my trigger. Just kind of almost putting it on like a guide coat. So slowly filling in that area. If you over apply this, what'll happen is it'll just kind of look like glorified silver, or what'll happen is if you over apply, really over apply it, it'll run. So again, I'd rather see an extra coat, extremely light, than a heavy coat trying to get that effect. The application over the white is the exact same way, just really light. So we'll let that dry up. We'll come back, put the last coat on, and then we'll do the application of the gold, which is actually the same exact way. It's just gold. So we'll see you guys in a minute. All right, guys, we are back. Coat number 2 is totally dry on both black and the white. And now this is going to be coat number 3, and this is kind of the deciding factor of how much further we'll go. We'll probably do 4 just because we are putting it on really light. And again, light is the key. So this is coat number 3. Not doing anything different. I am applying it the exact same way. Extremely light on my trigger pull. I'm like not even a half trigger. This is just extremely light. Just kind of dusting this on, filling in the dark spots if I see any. That's it. So this is over the white. Same way. Nice and even. Like I mentioned before, I'd rather have to go back and do a 4th coat if I think it's necessary, even a half coat, just to kind of dust it on and make it even, than look at it and regret putting that last coat on. So I can't stress it enough. That's the key to applying this. And you can see, I mean, my trigger pull is literally like that. I'm barely even moving my finger. So that's it, 3rd coat. We'll let that set up. We'll take a look, see what we think. And if we want to do a 4th, we'll do a 4th, but we'll kind of see what it looks like once it's dry. So we'll be back and we'll be spraying another coat of gold, or the chrome, or we'll do the gold. All right, guys, welcome back. I know we said we were gonna kind of investigate or make up our mind in terms of 3 and 4 coats. So this is 3 coats over the white and over the black, totally dry. And I'm digging how that looks, so we're gonna leave it at 3 coats. Again, it's kind of all dependent upon how you're spraying, how it's applied, the size of the project that you're doing. So I'm digging the 3 coats. It's got a nice even look to it, and the reflectivity is there. Now, the key is one thing I want to touch on before we move on to the gold, that's what we're going to spray next. This will actually get brighter. It will increase in brightness as it dries. So if you have that ability to, like the premium would be 2 days, 48 hours. After 48 hours, it really brightens up, at least 24 hours. So you guys are familiar, maybe if you saw the Silver Surfer video that we did, it was a big full-size Silver Surfer figure. We waited 2 days before we went after that with clear, and that just to achieve that maximum brightness, to really let this kind of, as it dehydrates, as it dries, it actually does brighten up. So enough of that. Got my gold chrome in the gun ready to go. This is the exact same thing like I mentioned before. It's right out of the bottle, ready to go. So same gun, same air pressure, same everything, same spray technique. It's just a different color. So we're gonna go ahead, I'll do it over the white first, and then we'll do the black. And again, guys, what I mentioned earlier, this is kind of the only time I recommend spraying this far away. And it's kind of more of a rapid hand movement, kind of that sword fight spray, just to get it nice and even. So that's it. Coat number 1, we'll let this dry up about 10 minutes, and we'll come back and put on coat number 2. Hey guys, welcome back. Coat number 1 is dry, over the black and over the white. And again, it doesn't look like much, but this is the process. I can't stress that enough. Light coats, even coats, and build it up. So we're gonna go ahead and do coat number 2. And then over the black. So again, we'll let this dry up another 10 minutes. We'll come back and do our 3rd coat, and see you in 10 minutes. All right, welcome back. Coat number 2 is dry. We're gonna go ahead and do coat number 3, and I think we're gonna kind of do the same thing that we talked about with the Quicksilver, where we'll kind of assess that after the 3rd coat and see if a 4th is necessary. But again, light coats, can't stress that enough. That's what we're talking about here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do coat number 3. You'll see after it really didn't look like much of anything, that 3rd coat really starts to fill in any of those little voids. So that's looking pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and do it over the black. The reason that we say working in light coats is you kind of want a small amount of that base coat color, whether it's the high gloss white or the high gloss black, to show through on a small scale. And that's gonna kind of give you that reflection on the flake, the particle that's creating that metallic look or that chrome look. So that looks pretty good too. We're gonna go ahead and let that dry up. We'll take a good look at it, and we'll make a decision if we're gonna do 4 coats or keep it at 3. So see you guys in a minute.